Arsenal are on their way to winning the league for the first time in 19 years, and all that is thanks to the ingenuity of the man in charge, Mikel Arteta. Yes, the players are great, but they're responding to the tactics of the manager, and to a large extent, it's his 5-phase plan which has brought Arsenal this much success so far. If you've never heard of this plan and you have no idea what it is, you're at the right place. Here is Mikel Arteta's 5-phase plan explained. In March 2023, during an interview with ESPN at the London Football Awards, Mikel Arteta, who won the award for Coach of the Year, explained that Arsenal are currently in the 3rd phase of their 5-phase plan, and he confessed that they're a little ahead of schedule. This made us think back to 2022, when Arteta revealed to Jamie Carragher in an interview that his plan for Arsenal was in 5 phases. He has not expressly stated what each of those 5 phases are, but if Phase 3 is challenging for the Premier League title, then one can deduce what the other phases are. Let's take a swing at it. Arteta was hired as head coach of Arsenal in December 2019, so he has been at the job for a little over 3 years. In his first interview after he was hired as a coach, there's one word Arteta kept repeating, and that was culture. He was so concerned about creating the right culture and environment for his players to thrive. As far as Arteta was concerned, before you start winning football games or challenging for titles, the energy and culture in the dressing room had to be right. So, we'll say that was phase 1 of Arteta's plan for Arsenal, creating the right culture. And for him, the 3 most important cultures to have are respect, commitment, and passion. Arteta needed his players to have these things for them to actually become a team to contend with. That's why you notice that it looks like Arteta is stricter than most other coaches. He didn't and still doesn't joke with discipline, no matter who you are or what your standing is at the club. We saw how he handled Aubameyang, who was captain of the club, and arguably the club's best player at the time. And for the first phase of his plan, Arteta was rewarded with his first trophy as manager, the FA Cup in 2020. Phase 1 complete. Now to Phase 2. Once culture had been established, personnel becomes the next important thing to focus on. So, Arteta went into the market and made some really important signings. In the summer of 2020, he signed Gabriel, Partey and Willian. Then, in the January transfer window of the same season, he signed Ødegaard on loan. Apart from Willian, each of these signings have become very vital in Arsenal's title charge this season. So, Arteta's recruitment is something that deserves a lot of credit. However, we didn't begin to see the fruits immediately. While we can all bear witness now that those were really good signings, it didn't exactly feel like it that season because Arsenal finished 8th on the table for the 2nd time in as many seasons. This time around though, there wasn't any FA Cup or even EFL Cup to make the season look even a little better. It was during this period that some Arsenal fans began to ask for Arteta's head. It looked like he didn't have a plan, but those who were attentive were able to notice the changes that the entire squad had undergone since Arteta's arrival, and that reasonable progress was being made. But regardless, that period was a little ugly. Arsenal not qualifying for European football at all was not pretty, no matter how you tried to paint it. So, it was impossible for them to move past Phase 2 when results hadn't changed. So, in the summer of 2021, more recruitment was done. Arteta signed Ben White, Sambi Lokonga, Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, Nuno Tavares, and then he made the signing of Ødegaard permanent. In this list, you can surely see some names that have become very important to the Arsenal squad this season. Oh, and might we add, it was Arteta who got Granit Xhaka to stay. After the whole showdown of the Crystal Palace game in 2019, it was almost certain that the Swiss midfielder would leave the club, but Arteta came in and made sure he stayed. Anyway, after this new phase of recruitment, we began to get a glimpse of the greatness that could come out of Arteta's team. The football was more fluid, players were more passionate and dedicated, and the results started coming through. In the 2021-22 season, Arsenal were well on course to finish in the Champions League places, but everything crashed in the final few weeks. And the reaction of the players to missing out on the top 4 was enough to show you the kind of character and attitude that Arteta had instilled into the squad. They were never going to settle for average anymore. Then boom! Going into the 2022-23 season, Arteta made a few tweaks to the team, bringing in the likes of Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, and letting go of the likes of Aubameyang and Lacazette. And that ushered them into the next phase, challenging for major honours. As Arteta said, they are currently in the 3rd phase of the 5-phase plan, so this is one we're certain about. The way Arsenal have played from the beginning of the season shows a clear aim. They want to be Premier League champions, and they have been playing like champions. They have managed to snatch victories from the jaws of defeat on a couple of occasions, and totally turn around results when it seemed like they were going to lose. That's exactly how you play when you're challenging for the biggest titles. Of course, they would want to end the season by winning the Premier League, but even if they don't, you have to admit that Arsenal has truly entered a new phase. Before the season began, no one would have put them in a conversation of title challengers, never mind top of the table with only a handful of games to go. Arteta has come a really long way, and he'll be hoping to bring the Premier League title to the Emirates for the first time in nearly 2 decades, and then move into the next phase of his plan. This phase is where Arsenal now begin to compete as actual champions. Once you're able to win that title, it immediately puts a pep in the step of the players and the entire football club. You get more confidence, more respect, and more pulling power. These are the things that ensure that you can go from winning one Premier League trophy to challenging for every trophy available season after season. Also, the club benefits commercially. Arsenal will experience a big boost financially, which will invariably affect the quality of players that can be signed, and therefore the quality of football that can be played. And this phase is very important for Arsenal because of how long it has been since their last Premier League success. Yes, they've had the domestic cups along the way, but those don't do you as much good as the big two, the league title and the Champions League. If they can secure the Premier League this season, then the Champions League can become a realistic target in the following seasons. If Arteta succeeds in this phase, then they can enter the final phase, which we believe is consistency at the top. It's not okay for a club to just win one trophy. You have to be able to replicate that over and over for years to come. And that's what makes you a really big club. Arsenal winning the league and then waiting another 2 decades to win another title is surely not what Arteta is after. He wants to make sure that they win this one and immediately get back on the grind to win the next one, and the one after that. It's a continuous process, and it will involve a repetition of the other phases. The culture will have to be reinforced, further recruitment and sometimes overhaul of the squad will have to be done. The challenge for all titles will have to be kept up, and they will have to constantly play like champions, game in, game out, season in, season out. That is how consistency at the top is achieved, and that is how you establish yourself as a big football club. Do you think Arteta will be able to achieve all this at Arsenal? How soon do you think he'll be able to reach Phase 5? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.